Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means. The other three are just along for the ride. Kirk, say what's up.
What's up?
James, say hi.
Hey.
And we are joined by Spokane Indians first baseman Grant Lavigne today. How you doing, Grant?
Good. How about you?
We're doing good. Just happy to be here and talking ball. So first things off, well, I guess we have two things we can talk about. Congratulations on your promotion last week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And happy birthday in like 2 weeks, since I won't be able to talk to you. So
thank you.
Can you walk us through the call up and how like that works? Because you were doing your thing down in Fresno with the baby Bears down there, which is just a fantastic team to watch right now. And then you got that call up probably, I'm assuming, pretty much a week ago. Like, walk us through that. What was that like? How did you get the call? Who'd you talk to? All that.
So pretty much how it went is like, it was a Sunday game and I wasn't playing that day. So just kind of went through the game on the bench, just watching us play like Elsinore. And after the game was over, I just kind of went to my locker and started like packing up my stuff because we're heading back home to Fresno. And then our manager, Robinson Kinsella, called me into his office. And just with all the coaches, they let me know that, like, hey, we're going to send you to Spokane, and just kind of went through kind of each coach saying how they thought I did, and kind of went on from there.
What's your initial like emotion when you feel like that? Are you just like, are you excited, or are you just focused on what you got to do next, or what's going on in your head?
I'd say it's like a combination. I'm like excited to go up there and get to the next level, but also trying to stay focused and continue what worked for me in Fresno.
What are
you working on right now?
Great mind.
Yeah, so hitting wise, I think always the biggest thing is trying to stay adjustable at the plate, cover multiple speeds. And I mean, this past series we played the Mariners, and we could see it through both levels. Even when we played them in like Fresno against Modesto, they like to throw a lot of like sliders and change ups, and it can get easy to like get off the fastball. But for me, it's always making sure I'm ready to hit the fastball and then be able to adjust to the sliders or the change ups and curveballs.
What's the scouting like? I mean, are you guys having daily meetings about what to expect, or is it just kind of free for all?
Yeah, I mean, you can get some information. I think you can get like percentages of like what the pitcher throws based on the hitter. So if right-handed hitters can see if he's primarily fastball, and then what's his other pitch he likes to go to. For lefties, kind of same thing. Usually it's probably change up and then the slider. But yeah, we'll kind of get some video and then get some information on his pitches.
It's probably a really silly question, but what's your favorite pitch to hit?
Ooh,
fastball.
I figured, but
is that just because they go farther, or just you're ready for it, so you know?
Yeah, I'd say I'm just always geared up for one, so I'm always on time for that pitch. I mean, for me, it's probably the easier pitch to hit right now.
Right. So what tips do you have for a 30-ish-year-old playing old man ball who can't hit an outside pitch at all, but to save his life? I'm speaking for Kirk as I ask this question. Just how does one grow his hitting ability? Like, what adjustments does he need to make?
So, like, for me, I like going to the opposite field is one of my strengths. So I basically start almost every like BP or batting practice starting off opposite field, just trying to hit like line drives over the shortstop's head. And that for me is just trying to let the ball travel a little bit, not trying to get it too far out front. So once I can do that consistently, I'll move on to like center field and right, and then go to right center. But I think the biggest thing is if you want to go opposite field is making sure that you're you're not opening your front shoulder too quick, trying to stay closed as long as possible. That way your barrel doesn't come out of the zone too quick.
That makes sense, Kirk.
Yeah, but I'm gonna translate that in my game this weekend. So
I'll send you updates, Grant.
All right.
what would you say like some of your biggest adjustments have been just from every level of pro ball so far? Like obviously when you got to pro ball, probably an enormous adjustment. And then what do you see on these lower levels as you're bouncing around?
So I'd say my first year in Junction, and obviously coming from high school, I didn't really see anything above like 87. I mean, obviously I had played in like showcases and with like the area codes and East Coast Pro where I saw good arms. But after high school, I hadn't seen anything like that quick in a while. So, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just you always have to get ready on time, be ready for the fastball. And then from there, you kind of had to like adjust a little bit to the off speed. But I think most of the time with the off speed and like rookie balls, they're not consistently landing it for strikes. So you got to just be a little bit more patient at the plate. And then when I went to like Asheville, I mean, we saw a lot of really good arms there. And I just wasn't really getting loaded on time. I was always getting beat by the fastball and just had trouble, going to my pull side a little bit. And so like this power, what I worked on for this coming year in Fresno is just making sure I was always getting loaded and getting to the position I want to swing from on time. That way I could get to the fastball and then be able to adjust to the other pitches.
So you're making those adjustments in real time. So that would probably, because like you said, you didn't ever see any talent like that before Asheville. And like, especially you coming straight from high school, straight to pro ball, you never had that college transition, that ability to kind of figure it out before you were thrown into the fire.
Yeah. I mean, we faced in Asheville, we faced like the Yankees and they had like 4 arms that were like 96, 90 to 99 with good off speed. So that was probably like the first time I've ever seen like those kind of arms.
You were like 19 at the time, right?
Yeah.
So 19 trying to hit 97 for the first time might be a little difficult, right? So you had 2020, you were were you at the alternative site?
No, so I was just at home, but we had like weekly Zoom calls and they'd give us stuff that they want us to work on. We had like meetings that they would like what our strengths were and like weaknesses and how we want to attack those.
And working on that. So did you just get your brother outside and like play wiffle ball in the backyard, or like how did you work on that stuff?
So me and my brother would always pretty much work out together. So we basically like start the morning off. We go do like a lift at a facility that was like 10 minutes away. And then we actually had a cage in our backyard with like a machine. So we'd go through like a routine off the tee and then go front toss and then go to machine and kind of do some work off that, whether it be like fastball or curveball and slider stuff. And then we'd wait until a little bit later when my dad would get back from work and we go to like our high school field, which was pretty close. And we do like defensive work, whether it be like ground balls or picks at first, that kind of stuff. So that'd be kind of pretty much my day.
And most of that was probably done before 11 o'clock, before Ezekiel was out of bed, right?
Yeah.
So New Hampshire, you're like one of 3 active players. Like there are only 3 active players in the major league from New Hampshire. What was it like being scouted up there? Did you just go to a bunch of like tournaments? You mentioned a few things that you did earlier, but no offense, but New Hampshire isn't like producing ball players all the time. So like, I feel like it'd be harder to get seen out there. How did you get seen? How did you get drafted? Get to this point of being that?
Yeah. So I'd say it first kind of started when I was a rising junior. I kind of played in a event called the East Coast Pro where there's like 6 teams, I believe, and they're all handpicked from scouts or area scouts from obviously in the Northeast for us. And then I think there's like a Florida team, a North Carolina, South Carolina team, and then like a Georgia and like Alabama team. But there's a couple more.
Mhm.
And we all play against each other and we face a bunch of like really good arms. I remember the first time I went, I think my first at bat was versus Mackenzie Gore.
Oh.
And I was like, damn, this guy's nasty. But yeah, we faced a bunch of arms. That was my first experience with like a scouting event. And then I followed up the next year, did same event, and then did the area codes. And I did pretty well in both of those. So I think that kind of put me on the map. And then after those events, during the fall, I did Jupiter, which is another like big scouting event where a lot of like, it's mostly like your travel team you go with.
Okay.
And then you'll play like other teams, but that's like the event where like scouts are all on the golf carts and they just drive to whatever game they want to and watch. But I
So
did
the first follow-up question to that, you took Mackenzie deep, right?
No, I think I either grounded out the second, but I think it was a good AB. I remember.
That's a W.
Yeah. But yeah, I did good in the Jupiter tournament, and then after that, kind of during like the winter, you'll have like some scouts like visit your house and like come and check in, do like some like Q&A stuff. And then the high school season came, and I think we did like a scrimmage versus Avon Old Farms, and they at the time, I don't know if you've probably heard of his name. They actually had 2 pretty good guys in high school. Ryan Cusick, I think he went first round to the Braves this year. And they had Hudson Haskins, who went like, I think 39 to the Orioles in 2020 or 2019. And so that was like a big matchup. So there was like I want to say probably 20 to 30 scouts there. And that's when I kind of knew that there was there'd be a lot of like scouts watching me that spring.
Mhm. Is that surreal for you? Like as a 16, 17, 18-year-old, like you see these big dogs watching you like that?
Yeah, I think it was surreal because like when I got up for my first AB, you walk up, and I usually like to like take a deep breath and look at my bat. And I was like looking at my bat, I just saw like all these cameras just pop up just all along the third base like fence, and I was like, oh geez. That's kind of when I knew.
Pretty hard to concentrate in that environment, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it took like, you get like super nervous for the first AB, but after that, it was kind of more relaxed.
Becomes just the norm for you that summer.
Yeah, you just get used to it.
Right. Was college ever an option?
What was that?
Was college ever an option for you?
Yeah, I mean, we had my family and agent talked about it, and we know that there was a point where if we didn't get what we want, I mean, I was willing to go to Wake Forest and play there for 3 years.
Mm-hmm. That would have been.
And I really liked Wake, and I thought with their they had a lot of like facilities that were coming along, and they had just like a new locker room, and it was really, I thought it would be a good situation for me to go to if the draft didn't work out.
Mhm. What was like the number that like if you were like the 60th pick, 70th pick, like that's when you go to Wake? Did you have one of those in mind? Was it like if the Phillies draft me, I'm not going?
I think it was like maybe like if I went later than like the third, I was probably gonna go the wake. I think that's what the situation was, kind of.
Mhm.
So, I mean, top 2 rounds, I was like, I'm gonna go and sign. But if that didn't happen, I was definitely willing to go to wake and play.
I don't know why Aaron's got to pick on the Phillies like that, but
Yeah, it's the Phillies. Can't like the Phillies.
Grant, so you mentioned, hitting the fastballs, your favorite pitch to hit, but what part of your game are you really prideful about kind of the most? I mean, you walk at a really good clip, you hit to the opposite field pretty good, you play defense. I mean, what part of your game are you most prideful about?
I would say probably like my hit ability, and the combination with like that and my approach. Like, I want to be able to, I think, what you see in a lot nowadays is kind of like the shift. And I don't want to be one of those guys that people shift on. Like, I know I can use the whole field, and if they do, I'm going to try to beat it. So, because I can drive the ball to left center, to right center. And then approach wise, like, I like to try to, like, if I get to 2 strikes, try to make it hard, be a really hard out for the pitcher. Like, try to foul off as many pitches or work the deep counts and try to work for a walk if that's possible.
Yeah. So going off of the discipline, I mean, what is your approach? Is it just come down to pitch recognition? I mean, what's some tips you have for more discipline?
Yeah, I'd say pitch recognition is probably one of my strong suits that helps my discipline at the plate. So as a hitter, you try to look, I mean, this might sound like silly, but if you try to hunt the middle of the zone, and like if you see like a slider start in the middle, chances are it's going to finish out of the zone. So it just comes down to like ability to, read the pitches, and if you see a slider or curveball up, you gotta be ready to try to bang that pitch.
Love that.
Yeah, you make it sound really easy, but definitely not an easy feat for sure.
The entire time you were explaining that, I was thinking, would this translate to MLB The Show? Because I am atrocious at that. So maybe if I start middle and start working on pitch recognition, I might be successful there.
Well, we were, I remember in Fresno, we had like one of our pitching coordinators in, and he was doing like a presentation about like pitch tunneling. And after that presentation, I tried it on MLB The Show and had like 16 Ks with Edward Cabrera.
I might have to do that. We learned about pitch tunneling from Weatherly a few weeks ago. So
Oh yeah,
he
probably explains it a lot better. But I remember after that meeting, I was like, "All right, I'm trying this out."
There you go. I might bust open the PS4 today. But he had diagrams and everything. Weatherly was
Oh, really?
a teacher. Yeah, he was teaching some things. What do you, so I don't think this is anything new to you. Defense has been one of your biggest knocks on you. What is it that you're working on over at first base? Because I mean, as Rockies fans at the beginning, we've been blessed with Andres Galarraga, Todd Helton, like that gold caliber first base stuff. So what are you doing to get up to that point?
Yeah, so been working on a lot of things at first base since first came into pro ball, and one of the biggest things has been like my first step at first, trying to get good reads on the balls put in play at first. So whether it be need to go charge in and get one or take a drop step and go back. I think one of the biggest areas I've probably improved in is like my footwork around the bag and being able to pick balls around the bag and be reliable to my teammates, that they don't always need to make like a great throw to first. They just, if they can get it there, I can pick it or do something where it doesn't have to be right at the chest.
Giving them some confidence in you over there.
Yeah, there you go. You can go.
What's something a coach told you that just kind of like, oh, that makes sense while working at first base?
I'd probably say, when you're at the bag, like starting in like a low athletic position, I think that's probably been like the biggest thing that's helped me. Starting low and then working from the ground up, especially since you kind of want to, like, what they told me is like you kind of want to expect a bad throw. That way, if you're expecting it, it makes it a lot easier. And then when you get the good throw, it's just here, catch it. So I'd probably say like starting a low athletic position, just like trying to expect a bad throw. That way, if you do get it, it just becomes easy.
That makes
What about
sense.
your first step? Your first step, is that directly towards the ball, the direction that the ball is coming, or what are you thinking on your first step?
So I've usually I just did like a little like walk in as the pitch was coming, or as the pitcher was throwing the ball to the plate. Now I kind of do like a walk in, and then I do a little bit of like a jump, kind of like, I'm trying to think, like Pedroia. I don't know if you guys ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like he did like a kind of a little bit of jump, and then after that he got into like a position where you could kind of go anywhere. So I think that's what I found what works best for me to, be able to move wherever I need to go. Sometimes I'd feel like I'd get like stuck just doing the walk-in and couldn't make like a quick first step.
Yeah, we saw Pedroia in a World Series, unfortunately.
Well, I was a Red Sox fan growing up, so.
I was gonna ask that because you have to be out in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, I remember that. I actually think, because growing up, I think some of my family got married in Denver, and we actually went to a Rockies game. I forget who they were playing. It might have been the Red Sox, but I think we sat out in the right field bleachers or something. I forget, but I remember going to a Rockies game when I was like, I think 7 or 8, a while ago.
And that's cool. You had that kind of going back to your childhood. So was that kind of cool? Like when you were drafted, like, oh, cool, I get to go play at that field I watched when I was 7, or did that even register?
No, it actually registered. I remember like going there, and I was like, dang, it's weird how that works. Like, I went there when I was younger, and then that team drafts me.
Did you go to any other stadiums?
Let's see, I've gone to like Wrigley, Yankee Stadium. Trying to think of other ones.
But Colorado was like the one as a child, and here you are being drafted by them.
Oh yeah.
You kind of the baseball gods are doing their thing. Speaking of Weatherly, did you hear his draft story?
No.
So he was saying that I was having a draft party in Michigan, and one of the ladies that was working the draft party, she was wearing a mask that was a Colorado Rockies mask. And this was way before he was drafted, before he was drafted. Then it turns out literally like an hour or two later, he was drafted by the Colorado Rockies.
Dang,
so
that's wild.
Baseball gods, right? Like,
yeah.
Do you keep every jersey from each one of your stops? Like, I've always wanted to ask that. Like, do you have an Asheville Tourist? Do you have a Grand Junction Rockies like in your closet?
So we don't get to keep the jerseys from Grand Junction or Asheville. I think in Lancaster they did get to keep them because they got like their names on the back. But I don't think we'll be able to get like the Spokane one either, to be honest. So I think I have one from Junction. It was like I forget what night. There was like some sort of what do you call it? I forget. It was like mental awareness night or something like that. So I had a bunch of like lime green on the jersey. I have that one. I actually do have the Pioneer League All-Star Game jersey. That one's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
But I only have a couple.
How about Fresno? Did you just put that one in your bag when you left, or what?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, I didn't really have much to put it in.
As you're a big dude, 6'4", 220, 230. But you're over here hitting triples and stolen bases. Have you just always been fast, or what's it like being fast and big? Is that something you've been working on?
I'd say like I definitely have some speed for my size. I think as far as like the stolen bases go, I think pitchers just kind of like see me on first and like don't really like acknowledge. They're like, oh, it's just a big guy. He's not really gonna do anything. So they kind of just don't really pay attention. They don't care about like how quick they are to home plate and that kind of stuff. So I mean, depending on the pitcher, like sometimes they'll try to take advantage of that and try to help out the hitter at home plate, get a guy in scoring position.
You're sneaky. You're sneaky fast over there. They don't even recognize you. Is that a goal for you? Like to have like 10 stolen bases or 20 stolen bases a season? Is that even, what are some of your goals? Let's go to that. Like, what are some of your goals that you set for yourself?
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as for hitting, I think as far as I don't do too many like statistical goals. It's more like, I guess, analytical goals. Like we have a bunch of like stuff that after every month we'll go over with our hitting coordinator. And for me, like one of them was like hard hit balls. So like any ball like 95 plus is considered a hard hit.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, trying to improve that from 2019 was one of the things I wanted to improve on. And so just trying to improve like my amount of hard contact was one of my goals. And then I think another one was trying to be like disciplined. So you got like chase rate, trying to keep that as low as possible, and then keep my strikeouts pretty close with my walks. So like I think there's like a ratio that we try to keep it here. I think it's like 2.5. So for every 2.5 strikeouts, you get a walk. So trying to keep that along, kind of like in Junction where I had like more walks and strikeouts. That's something I kind of strive to have, or to keep it close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, OBP, we were just having a group conversation about that. Like OBP is super important, like getting on base and being able to do power along with it is definitely a good attribute, especially as a first baseman. So it's cool that you guys are also those analytics. Go, Kirk.
Well, especially in today's game where it's strikeout or home run, if you can get somebody that's putting the ball in play, even if you pride yourself in going opposite field, that's perfect for like a 2-hole hitter, just moving a guy over. That's kind of a lost art nowadays, it seems.
Yeah, I'd say definitely I like being like an OPP guy, just trying to get on base and obviously doing whatever helps the team win. So, I mean, for me, one of the things I hate is just striking out. That bugs me, but obviously it's going to happen, but you try to avoid as much as possible.
Yeah, of course.
Where do you like to hit in the lineup? First, second, third, fourth?
I like fourth or fifth. I mean, either one of those, you get guys in scoring position a good amount. So I'd say I like driving guys in. So either fourth or fifth, I think you get a lot of opportunity to drive some guys in at home.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense with your talents and your abilities. We're coming up on that half-hour mark, so we'll finish with some fun questions. We like to do this with a few of the guys. Usually I go to the college websites and see like what get to know you questions they were asked. Obviously, we don't have that ability for you, so you're going to answer them here. We will be your college website right now. What is just your basic favorite food?
I think probably tacos, to be honest.
Tacos. It's
Are
nothing-
you a sushi guy now that you're up in Spokane? It's probably some good seafood up there.
Yeah, to be honest, I've only actually had sushi maybe like a couple times in my life. Probably
Well,
hard to believe.
that's a good spot to get into it.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe I have to try it sometime soon.
Yeah, wake up to Var and go have lunch at some sushi joint. What is your biggest childhood moment? Something that just stands out to you, like from your childhood.
I mean, probably baseball. When I was in Little League, I hit 5 homers in a game, so that was probably the biggest standout.
Yeah, that would do it. Would that be like your biggest baseball game as a child? Like, where you just dominated all the way through?
Yeah, I mean, I think that game was pretty crazy. I think I hit for the home run cycle. So I had like a solo shot, 2-run, 3-run, and a grand slam.
How do they pitch to you on the 5th time? I mean,
it was already like, I think 20 something to like 2. So I think they're kind of just letting me hit.
Was it on a 3-0 ball, 3-0 count?
I hope not.
It's okay if it was. Last one. We have some footage. This is going to be taking me way too much work to bring it up. But you hit a walk-off dinger in Fresno probably about a month ago. You have to remember that, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Can you walk us through like going up to the batter's box, what it was like when you hit it, and then the end when your players just mobbed you at home?
Yeah, so I remember, Tobar just hit like a double down the right field line, and we scored a run on that one. I think we scored Diaz. And as I was walking to the play, I remember pitcher in the mound was a fastball slider guy. He only had 2 pitches, and like that whole series, like Rancho is this first pitch of the ABs, they're just throwing me like changeups or sliders. And so I had a pretty good idea. I was like, all right, if this pitch isn't a little bit up in the zone, I'm going to take it. And so first pitch was a slider down dirt. And so I was like, all right, I'm getting geared up for a fastball here. He's got to come to me. And next pitch, fastball, just barely under it. So I knew I was right on that pitch. And then 1-1, he comes again, throws a fastball like low and in, and drove to right field. And I remember as soon as I hit, I was like, that might get out, maybe. And then as soon as I saw it clear, I was like, let's go. That was my first walk-off in pro ball, so that was pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
But then as I got to home, as soon as I touched home plate, I just remember just getting splashed from the water cooler. I think it was Bean too. I was like, damn, bro.
That's awesome. And that goes right back to what you were saying, this whole conversation about pitch recognition and doing your homework, and it paid off at a very cool point. I'm going to try to find
that was a great game, because I think we were down 9-2, like going into the 7th or something like that. We hit like 3 homers. Actually, I think we hit 4 in the last 2 innings. It was crazy.
Yeah. Okay. I found it. So this is from somebody that actually works for the Fresno Grizzlies. Big fan. He's out here. I don't know I know you're on your phone, but can you see that? You can't see part?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's about 40 seconds long, but just so you get a fan reaction of your walk off here. Let's see how this works out. Never done this before.
Come on, Grant. Come on, Grant. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Damn, that's pretty sweet.
You took your time rounding the bases.
Yeah, I did a little bit. Had to soak it in.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
definitely, dude.
And there's the mom.
Yeah, you made some nights, man.
Yeah, that was a good day to do it on. I think there was like 10,000 people there too. That was July 4th weekend.
Yeah, I read something that was the biggest crowd for Fresno this season, and you decided to walk up for everybody.
Yeah, that was a good timing.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for spending your late morning with us, and keep doing your thing. We'll keep rooting for you in Spokane, and hopefully
Enjoy your off day.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
See ya.
Thank you.
Later, Grant.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you for tuning in. Find more content at BlakeStreetBanter.com.